First and foremost, all praises are due to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elder apostles and bishops of Great Millstone for teaching us the truth. Salutations to the brothers around the four corners of the earth who are teaching this word in truth and sincerity. And shalom to the hopeful elect, a few men, women, and children that believe in this word. This is your brother Kawat Sabah coming at you again with another lesson. This one is entitled, Nero Trump Continues to Poke the Bear. When we say Nero, all right, Trump, we're speaking of the fact that we believe that Trump was Nero in one of his past incarnations. We know Nero was a Roman emperor. And the actions of Trump mirror very much the Roman Emperor Nero. So that's why we affectionately, from Elder Apostle Har on down, call him Nero Trump. And the bear represents, of course, Russia. That's one of their great symbols. And as we know, Friday, article came out, on the news cycle about Trump repositioning 2 nuclear submarines after Medvedev from Russia made highly provocative Russian comments. All right. Basically, Medvedev made a comment based off the fact that Trump gave Russia a deadline to end the war with the Ukraine. All right. And he said, look, you doing this is a step towards war. And we know it's in the scriptures that eventually Russia and their allies will go to war with Babylon, America, and their allies. And we'll get those scriptures in a minute. Let's read a little bit of this article. It says here, President Donald Trump announced Friday, that was last Friday, that he has ordered 2 nuclear submarines to be positioned in the appropriate regions following highly provocative statements made by former Russian President Dmitry Medvedev. Medvedev said earlier this week that Trump's new deadline for Russia to end the war, the conflict with the Ukraine, is an additional step towards war. So Medvedev made these comments based on the fact that Trump gave them a deadline. You have to end this war with Ukraine very, very quickly. He gave them a deadline. I think it was maybe, might have been like 50 days or so. All right. But this is what Medvedev said, okay? Hold on. Hold on. This is what Trump said, okay, after the comments by Medvedev. Based on the highly provocative statements of the former president of Russia, Dmitry Medvedev, who is now the deputy chairman of the Security Council of the Russian Federation, I have ordered 2 nuclear submarines to be positioned in the appropriate regions just in case these foolish and inflammatory statements are more than just that, Trump said in a post on Truth Social. So like I said, Trump is continuing to poke the bear of Russia. But the thing about it is, all of these world leaders are really controlled by the elites of the Edomites, the international bankers. Like Shakespeare says, the world is a stage. So many of these leaders, all these leaders of the world, they're really puppets. All right. And then overall, the real puppet master, of course, is Yahweh, the Most High. Man's comings and goings are of the Lord. How can a man then understand his way? Proverbs 20 and 24. So let's continue. It says here, Trump says, words are very important and it can often lead to unintended consequences. Yeah, you're right. Nuclear missiles being shot towards Babylon, America, which is in the scriptures. Trump continues, I hope this will not be one of those instances, he added. All right. It says here, there was no immediate response to Trump's comments from Russia. The Russian Foreign Ministry did not immediately respond Friday to a request for comment from Fox News Digital. All right. Medvedev, now the deputy chairman of the Security Council of Russia, cautioned that Trump's announcement Monday, so like I said, Trump made that announcement that Russia must end the conflict with Ukraine in 10 to 12 days would not end well for the U.S. So, I stand corrected. I think it was 50 days in the beginning, and then Trump shortened it to 10 to 12 days, all right, which was not a good thing Okay, according to what Medvedev said, this is what he said. Trump's playing the ultimatum game with Russia, 50 days or 10, all right? Because originally, like I said, it was a 50-day deadline that Trump gave Russia to end the war with the Ukraine. Then he shortened it to what? 10 to 12 days. So Medvedev says 50 days or 10, he should remember two things. Russia isn't Israel or even Iran. So the bear is like, look, we're not Israel and we're not Iran. Okay, we have a whole bunch of firepower, nuclear weapons, okay, a nice arsenal, a big army. Number two, okay, Medvedev says, each new ultimatum is a threat and a step towards war, not between Russia and Ukraine, but with his own country. Medvedev said in a post on X on Monday, he says here, don't go down the Sleepy Joe road, all right? All right, so he told him, hey, we're not Israel or Iran. We're nothing to play with. You're going to continue to poke the bear, and you're going to get what you want. And that's according to Scripture as well. But let's go to Ezekiel 38. All right. Ezekiel 38, verse 1. And like the elder apostle on down has taught us to filter out what's going on in the news cycle with the scriptures to match it up. So Ezekiel 38 verse 1 says this, and the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against him. And say, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, Behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal. So this ancient area, okay, when it says here, against Gog, the land of Magog, that's speaking of the land of Russia, current day Russia, all right? Let's continue. He says here, Ezekiel 38, Yahweh says, and I will turn thee back, meaning Russia, okay, formerly known as the USSR, Ezekiel 38:4, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth in all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them, clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company, with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. All right? So this is speaking of Russia and their arsenal. They have as many nuclear weapons as we have. As a matter of fact, their nuclear weaponry is way more sophisticated than Babylon America's is. That's why Medvedev said, hey, we're not Iran or Israel. We're nothing to fuck with. You see what I'm saying? Ezekiel 38 and verse 5. And these are the allies that Russia will have on its side. Persia, which is what? That's modern day Iran, Ethiopia, Libya. You have certain African countries that are aligned with Russia, okay? All of them with shield and helmet because they have weapons based on the fact that Russia has supplied them with weaponry. It says here, Gomar, that's the Armenians, the Turkish people, Gomar and all his bands, the house of Togarmah of the north quarters, and all his bands, and many people with thee. So these are the allies of Russia that are going to align with Russia against Babylon, America, and their allies. The EU, European Union, NATO, so on and so forth. And of course, Israel, because Babylon, America is a guard to Israel, just like Russia is a guard to Iran. And that's going to kick off World War III, which those of us who are part of the Hope for Elect, we are looking forward to. Ezekiel 38 in verse 7, it says, Be thou prepared, and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. So this is Russia being a guard unto Iran, okay? Of course, they're in link, also linked with China, North Korea. You see, these are all the allies of Russia, all right? You have the BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, all right? Just as an example. So Russia will be a guard unto these nations because it has the military capabilities to challenge Babylon, America. Let's go to Jeremiah 50 for a precept. Jeremiah 50, and we have here, let's go to verse 41. It says here, Jeremiah 50 and verse 41 says, behold, a people shall come from the north. That's speaking of Russia, okay? If you look at Russia on the map, okay, it's north of Babylon, America. Behold, a people shall come from the north, and a great nation, and many kings shall be raised up from the coast of the earth, all right? So that'll be what Russia and the other nations align with it, going against Babylon, America, and their allies. It says here, they shall hold the bow and the lance. They are cruel and will not show mercy. Their voice shall roar like the sea, and they shall ride upon horses, every one put in array, like a man to the battle against thee, O daughter of Babylon. So the daughter of Babylon is Babylon, America, all right? And we know Russia has, like I said, the military weaponry to go against Babylon, America, all right? It says here, the king of Babylon hath heard the report of them, of the Russians, okay? Because the Russians are they're known as they're very warlike, the Russians. If you go back in their history, 100 years ago, 200 years ago, they're very warlike and ready for battle, all right? Their soldiers are very, very hardened, and Babylon, America soldiers are no match for the Russian soldiers, all right? They're a tough breed. Let's read this again, Jeremiah 50 and 43. The king of Babylon hath heard the report of them, and his hands waxed feeble. Anguish took hold of him, in pangs as of a woman in travail. So we definitely believe that king of Babylon right now is Donald J. Trump. You see what I'm saying? He talks a good game, but deep down inside, he knows not to say too much against Russia. Okay, but he continues to poke the bear with little pot shots, you see? But this is all part of prophecy. Jeremiah 50, and let's read verse 44. Behold, he shall come up like a lion from the swelling of Jordan, okay, unto the habitation of the strong. But I will make them suddenly run away from her, and who was a chosen man that I may appoint over her? For who is like me, and who will appoint me the time, and who is that shepherd that will stand before me, all right? So the Lord is running the show here. So he is appointing the leaders, and he is guiding these countries overall to get ready for World War III. And that'll be in what? The Valley of Decision, okay, known as the Valley of Jehoshaphat, in that Middle Eastern area, you see? So the Lord is controlling everything, essentially. He controls the left-hand side, okay, the elites of the Edomites, the international bankers that want to bring about eventually the MOTB, Revelation 13 and verse 16, and he controls the right-hand side, the men of the Lord, okay, the elect that believe in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, who are Hebrew Israelites, so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, here in Babylon, America, and scattered throughout the world like the sand of the seashore. So let's go to, let's read verse 45, Jeremiah 50 and verse 45. Therefore hear ye the counsel of the Lord that he hath taken against Babylon, which is America, and his purposes that he hath purposed against the land of the Chaldeans, another name for Babylon, America. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. Because, like it says here, the least of the flock is talking about Amalek, the small hats in Israel, who get billions and billions of dollars sent to them via the U.S. government. So they really run Babylon, America. The international bankers, the small hats, okay? The banking families. So when it says, surely the least of the flock, the least of the Edomites, the Amalek, the small hats, are going to draw out Babylon, America, okay, against Iran. And of course, Russia is going to come to the aid of Iran, setting up World War III. And then eventually this will lead to what? Babylon, America being destroyed via nuclear missiles from Russia and the other nations on the day of the Lord. So we are looking forward to it. So everything is going as perfectly planned as the Lord Yahweh wants it to go. So we are measuring the time diligently. We're watching the news. and we're filtering out what's going on in the news with these scriptures. Let's continue. Let's read. Let's get some precepts on Jeremiah 50 and verse 45. Let's go to Joel chapter 3 and verse 9, because everything is setting up nicely. Now we know that Jacob's trouble has to come. We're on the cusp of Jacob's trouble, famine of food, race riots, civil war, pestilence, disease. All these things have to set up, everything for World War III. But more importantly, everything has to go into full-blown chaos in order for the elites to bring out their solution, which is the MOTB, Revelation 13 and verse 16. Let's get Joel chapter 3. Let's do verse 9. It says here, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. So everything is setting up for World War III. It says, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong, because China, North Korea, Iran, India, various other countries, they have military weaponry that they have gotten from Russia, And in particular, Iran has gotten a lot of ammunition, missiles, They've been aided by Russia. So they are no longer scared of the big bad wolf, Babylon America, all right? That's why it says here, let the weak say, I am strong. Joel 3 and verse 11 says, assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen. So the Lord's going to gather all the heathens that have been against us, the Hebrew Israelites. That's in what? Psalms 83. All the countries that have been confederate against us, the Hebrew Israelites, because, we are the chosen people of the Most High. So they have a hatred for us, especially you goddamn Edomites. We know Esau has a what? A perpetual hatred for Jacob, all right? Let's begin again. Joel 3 and verse 11. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. So the Lord Yahweh is going to set everybody up, into one place, to bring destruction upon them. Let's read this. It says, Joel 3 verse 12, let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. This is also known as the War of Armageddon, all right? So it's all setting up very nicely. We wanted to speed up, those of us who are part of the hope for elect, because we hate this place. And then we know that eventually when World War III kicks off, you're going to have the nuclear missiles being shot from Russia and other nations towards Babylon America. At that same time, Yahweh Shah is going to crack those clouds and bring his own destruction with the myriad of angels and the chariots who are going to be launching laser fire down upon Babylon America. And then the elect of the Lord, the remnant of the Hebrew Israelites who have been faithful, are going to be beamed up into the chariot of Yahweh Shai. Here in Babylon America, 1/3, and select elect throughout the world. So let's go back to Jeremiah 50 real quick. Let's read this. Jeremiah 50 and verse 46. It says, at the noise of the taking of Babylon, because like I said, those nuclear missiles are going to be launched, towards Babylon America from Russia and the other nations. So it says here, Jeremiah 50 and 46, at the noise of the taking of Babylon, the earth is moved, because it's going to be desolate, it's going to be on fire. And the cry is heard among the nations. So the other countries are going to be what? They're going to be in distress when Babylon America gets hit by the nuclear missiles, Let's get a precept for that. Let's go to Revelation 18 and verse 9. Revelation 18 and verse 9, it says here, and the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning via the nuclear missiles from Russia and the other nations, okay? When it says kings of the earth, it means the other nations who have committed fornication with her, who have dealt, did business with America, Babylon, okay? Who have made money off of her, so on and so forth, okay? Let's continue. Let's read it again. Revelation 18 and verse 9, and the kings of the earth who have committed fornication with her and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning, standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city, Babylon, which is America, that mighty cry, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. It's going to take 1 hour for the nuclear missiles to put this place, Babylon, America, into a lake of fire. In addition to that, you're going to have laser fire from the chariots, the angels of the Lord, and Yahushua also contributing to the lake of fire here in Babylon, America. And we hope through faith that we'll be one of the elect and we can watch the show go down in the big, gigantic spaceship with Yahushua. Revelation 18 and verse 11. And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise anymore. So the other countries are going to, lament and say, damn, we're not going to be able to do any more business with Babylon, America, because Babylon, America buys lots of products from other countries around the world. Revelation 18 and verse 12. This is an example of the products, okay? These are the ancient products, but now we have modern day products as well. Revelation 18, the merchandise of gold and silver and precious stones and of pearls and fine linen and purple and silk and scarlet and all thine wood and all manner vessels of ivory and all manner vessels of the most precious wood and of brass and iron and marble, okay? And cinnamon and odors and ointments and frankincense and wine and oil and fine flour and wheat and beast and sheep and horses and chariots and slaves and souls of men, okay? All right? Let's read verse 14, if I may. And the fruits that thy soul lusted after are departed from thee, and all things which were dainty and goodly are departed from thee, and thou shalt find them no more at all, okay? See, it's all going to be gone, okay? Because, like I said, the merchants have imported items from Babylon, America, from around the world, and have exported items to Babylon, America. So that's going to be done. All the luxuries are going to be no more. Let's read verse 15. The merchants of these things, okay, the various countries around the world, which were made rich by her, Babylon, America, shall stand afar off for the fear of her torment, weeping and wailing, and saying, Alas, alas, that great city that was clothed in fine linen, in purple, and scarlet, and decked with gold. You ever hear that saying, the streets are paved with gold, describing Babylon, America, and precious stones and pearls. For in 1 hour so great riches has come to naught, all right? And every shipmaster, and all the company in ships, and sailors, and as many as trade by sea, stood far off, and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, Which city is like unto this great city? All right? There will never be another city, another place like Babylon, America, so to speak. And they cast dust on their heads and cried, weeping and wailing, saying, Alas, alas, that great city, Babylon, America, wherein were made rich all that had ships in the sea by reason of her costliness, for in 1 hour is she made desolate. Let's read Revelation 18, verse 19, the NLT. And they shall weep, the other countries, and throw dust on their heads to show their grief, and they will cry out, how terrible for that great city, The ship owners became wealthy. The other countries became wealthy by dealing with trade with Babylon America. The ship owners became wealthy by transporting her great wealth on the seas. In a single moment, it is all gone. All right? So we're going to love it. Okay? We can't wait till this day happens. So on that note, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. I hope this lesson was edifying to you. Shalom.